You can eat right. You can stay active. But if you're over 65 and living alone, something else might be silently cutting your life short, faster than heart disease, faster than cancer. Loneliness. Most people don't realize this. Living in social isolation increases your risk of early death by up to 45%. That's higher than obesity. Higher than smoking. And the worst part? It doesn't happen all at once. It steals your energy, your memory, your will to move. So if you or someone you love is living alone, this might be the most important video you'll see this year. Right pointing finger emoji, tap like to help others see this, and subscribe for simple, science-backed ways to stay connected, strong, and independent with age. Welcome to Better Aging Advice, where we help older adults stay strong, connected, and independent. Every week, we share simple, science-backed insights to help you live better, not just longer. Let's be honest. Maybe the kids moved out years ago. Maybe your spouse is gone. Maybe you wake up and go to bed, and not a single person checks in. You make your coffee. You read the paper. You fill the time. But some days, the silence is so thick. It feels like it presses down on your chest. Not in a painful way. In a quiet, invisible way. Like something is missing, and you're the only one who notices. The house feels too quiet. The phone barely rings. And it's not that anything is wrong exactly. It's that nothing really happens. No plans. No reason to get dressed up. No one to share a meal with or laugh about something silly on TV. And here's the part no one says out loud: loneliness doesn't look dramatic. It just slowly takes things from you. Your energy. Your memory. Your motivation to move or go outside. One day, you realize you're not living. You're just managing time. And that's not what you deserve. Not after all the life you've lived. It's time we talked about what loneliness really does to the body and how to fight back. Maurice was 74. Widowed. Quiet. Polite. He used to be the guy who always had a story. A joke. A fresh pot of coffee if you stopped by unannounced. But after his wife passed, something in him dimmed. He didn't stop living, not exactly. He still drove to the grocery store. Still waved to the neighbors when he brought the trash cans in. Still kept the lawn trimmed just the way she liked it. But something was missing. He stopped calling people back. Stopped making plans. Started eating most of his meals standing up in the kitchen like he didn't see the point of sitting at the table alone. He slept in front of the TV, not because he liked it, but because the bed felt too big. Too cold. Too quiet. And nobody really noticed. Because he wasn't doing badly. He wasn't in pain. He wasn't complaining. But behind that polite smile, Maurice was fading. Not in body, in spirit. He used to hum when he cooked. Now he barely bothered with meals. He used to walk to the park. Now he barely stepped outside unless he had to. Then one day, he missed a doctor's appointment. The only one he never skipped. And that's when his niece drove over and found the truth. He wasn't injured. He wasn't sick. He was just depleted. Disconnected. She said, greater than it wasn't anything dramatic. He was just sitting there, quiet, like always. But this time, I looked in his eyes and thought, he's not here. That's what loneliness can do. It doesn't always break you with a bang. Sometimes, it just erases you slowly. Maurice didn't need medication. He didn't need a walker. What he needed was someone to notice. Here's what the science tells us, and it's more serious than most people realize. Loneliness isn't just a feeling. It's a biological threat. And for older adults, especially those over 65, it can be as dangerous as smoking or obesity. Researchers have found that social isolation increases the risk of heart disease by 29%. The risk of stroke goes up by 32%. And the most alarming stat of all, loneliness raises your risk of dementia by 50%. Why? Because loneliness isn't passive. It triggers a stress response in the body, raising cortisol, your body's primary stress hormone. And when cortisol stays high for too long, it starts damaging your heart, your memory, your immune system. The body interprets chronic loneliness as a threat. So it stays in fight or flight mode even when there's no danger. That constant internal stress wears you down. It leads to inflammation, poor sleep, reduced appetite, even a weakened ability to fight off infection. One neuroscientist said it best, greater than loneliness doesn't just hurt emotionally. It physically rewires your brain and weakens your body. Think of it like this, loneliness is like rust on metal. You don't see it at first. But day by day, it eats away at your strength. It weakens your structure. And by the time it becomes visible, the damage has already begun. It's not your imagination. It's not just part of getting older. Loneliness is measurable. It's dangerous. And if we don't treat it like the serious health threat it is, we risk losing years of life, not just quality of life. But the good news is, this kind of damage is reversible. Even small steps can start to rebuild the connection your brain and body need. Many seniors say, greater than I'm not lonely. I just like my space. And that might be true. Solitude can be beautiful when it's chosen. But loneliness is something else entirely. It's what happens when connection disappears. When the calls stop coming. When your presence feels optional, instead of essential. When even in a room full of people, you feel invisible. It's not about how many people are around. It's about how deeply you feel connected. You can be alone and fulfilled. And you can be surrounded, and still feel forgotten. This isn't about being social. It's about being seen. Being needed. Being part of something. That's what the science confirms. One of the most respected studies in the world, the Harvard study of adult development, followed people for over 80 years. And do you know what they found? The quality of your relationships at age 50 is the single strongest predictor of your physical health at age 80. Not your diet. Not your income. Not even your genetics. Your relationships. That's how powerful connection is. Because being connected truly tells your body you matter. It gives your nervous system a break. It lowers blood pressure, strengthens immunity, and improves sleep. But when that connection fades, the body starts to shut down in subtle ways. Not from sadness, from stress. From lack of stimulation. From a sense that you no longer belong. And the danger is, loneliness doesn't make a lot of noise. It's not dramatic. It creeps in. Silently. Until you realize, one day, you don't feel like yourself anymore. This is why we can't dismiss it. We can't pretend it's just an emotion. Loneliness is a killer. And naming it, is the first step to taking its power away. Here's something most people, even doctors, don't talk about. Loneliness doesn't just affect your mood. It literally changes how your body ages all the way down to your cells. Let me explain. At the end of each strand of your DNA, you have something called telomeres. Think of them like the plastic tips on shoelaces. They protect your DNA, keeping your cells stable, healthy, and able to repair themselves. But when you're under chronic stress, especially the kind that comes from feeling isolated or unseen, those telomeres shrink fast. And when telomeres shrink, your cells begin to malfunction. They age more rapidly. They lose their ability to bounce back from damage. And your body's internal repair system? It starts to fall apart. Researchers at the University of California found that older adults who reported frequent feelings of loneliness had significantly shorter telomeres than those who felt connected. That means faster aging, weaker immune response, increased inflammation, and a much higher risk of disease, all because the body senses disconnection and starts preparing for decline, even when there's no physical threat. One study put it this way: greater than the perception of social isolation is a more powerful predictor of early mortality than objective measures of isolation. In other words, body acts older when it believes no one cares. Even if people are technically around. If you feel unseen, the damage begins. But here's the powerful part: this process is not permanent. Telomere loss can slow down, and in some cases, even reverse when we re-establish connection. When we feel like we belong. When we have a reason to get up, move, and engage. So the question becomes, greater than what if reconnecting could actually slow down aging? Because that's not just a hopeful idea. That's what the science is starting to show. And that's exactly where we go next with simple, practical ways to rebuild connection and remind your body. Greater than you're still needed. You still matter. Step 1. The 3-3-3 rule for connection. Here's a simple, powerful step anyone can take, no matter how shy or busy you feel. I call it the 3-3-3 rule for connection. It's easy to remember and even easier to start. 1. Call 3 people every week. These don't have to be long conversations, just real, genuine check-ins. 2. When you call, talk for at least 3 minutes. Not just how are you? But really listen, share, and connect. It's those few minutes of meaningful conversation that remind both of you you're not alone. 3. Make 3 invitations per month. Even if it's something small like coffee, a walk, or a phone date. The goal isn't a party, it's creating consistent opportunities for connection. You might worry you're bothering people. Or think, why would they want to hear from me? But here's the truth, you're not a burden. You're giving someone else a gift, the gift of being needed, valued, and connected. Connection is a two-way street. When you reach out, you're also opening the door for others to feel less lonely. And that small step triggers a powerful cycle. You feel seen. They feel seen. Your bodies relax. Your brains release feel-good chemicals that lower stress. It's not a magic cure, but it's a simple habit that rewires your social brain and strengthens your emotional health. Try it for a week and notice how you feel afterward. If it feels awkward, that's normal. Like any new skill, it gets easier with practice. And the more you do it, the more those tiny moments add up, slowing the harmful effects of loneliness, and reminding your body and mind, I belong. I matter. Step 2. Purposeful movement in public spaces. Movement is medicine, but movement combined with connection is a healing powerhouse that works on your body and your mind. That's why step 2 is all about purposeful movement in public spaces. Taking a daily walk is great for your health, but it matters even more where you walk. Choose places where other people are around. It could be the local park, a busy coffee shop, the library, or just the sidewalk where neighbors pass by. The goal isn't to have deep conversations every time, it's simpler than that. Try small actions like waving to a neighbor, making eye contact with someone walking by, or saying a cheerful good morning to the person waiting at the bus stop. These small passive social interactions might seem insignificant, but science tells us their impact is anything but. Research shows that even light social contact helps lower cortisol, the stress hormone that damages your heart, memory, and immune system over time. At the same time, these little moments boost your brain's production of serotonin and oxytocin, hormones that lift your mood, reduce anxiety, and make you feel more connected and calm. Think of it like charging your emotional battery bit by bit every day. But there's more. Simply being seen by others, and acknowledging them, reminds your brain that you belong to a community. That feeling of belonging is a powerful shield against loneliness and its hidden health risks. You don't have to be the life of the party or the center of attention. You don't even need to talk much. Just showing up, making eye contact, and sharing a smile can build invisible social threads that protect you in ways you can't always see. If this feels awkward at first, you're not alone. Many people find these small social gestures uncomfortable or out of habit. But the more you practice, the easier it becomes. Your brain actually starts to crave these connections because it knows they're good for you. Try to make this purposeful movement a part of your daily routine. Even 10 or 15 minutes is enough to shift your mood, calm your stress, and reduce the harmful effects of social isolation on your body. Remember, connection doesn't always have to be deep or long. Sometimes it's just about being noticed, being part of the world around you. Every wave, every smile, every good morning is a small but powerful victory against loneliness. And those tiny moments add up, helping you feel seen, valued, and alive. Step 3. The contribution shift mindset. Loneliness often sneaks in when we feel invisible or forgotten. It creeps into the quiet spaces of our days, whispering that we no longer matter. But what if the key to breaking free isn't about what we can get, but what we can give? That's the heart of step 3, the contribution shift mindset. This shift means flipping the script from what can I get? To who can I help today? It's about moving from isolation toward connection through purposeful giving. And this giving doesn't have to be grand or complicated. Sometimes, the smallest acts create the deepest bonds. Maybe it's helping a neighbor carry groceries, offering a listening ear, or sharing advice with someone younger navigating life's challenges. Maybe it's volunteering at your local community center, mentoring through a phone call, or even sharing your stories and wisdom online. Each act of contribution sends a clear message: you matter. Your experience, your kindness, and your presence are valuable. Science backs this up. Research shows that helping others triggers the release of dopamine and endorphins, the brain's feel-good chemicals, which naturally lift your mood and reduce stress. Beyond the immediate boost, giving also strengthens your sense of purpose, a powerful force that supports mental sharpness and emotional resilience as you age. When you focus on contribution, you step out of loneliness and into a community where you're truly seen and heard. And this creates a positive cycle: the more you give, the more connected you feel. The more connected you feel, the more energy and joy you find to keep giving. It becomes a virtuous circle that enriches both your life and the lives of others. If you're wondering where to start, think small and genuine. Offer to teach a skill you love, like gardening or cooking. Share a meaningful story from your life with a younger family member or friend. Volunteer for a cause that touches your heart, even if it's just an hour a week. These simple steps build bridges, one connection at a time. Remember, your contribution doesn't need to be perfect or large scale. It only needs to be real. Because when you shift your focus from what you lack to what you can give, loneliness loses its grip. In its place grows meaning, connection, and renewed hope. This mindset shift isn't just about helping others. It's about reclaiming your own life, filling it with purpose, joy, and the warmth of belonging. And that's the kind of connection that changes everything. Maurice's life didn't change overnight, but the shift he experienced was profound and heartening. After weeks of hesitation, he finally decided to take a small step, volunteering twice a week at a local community garden near his home. At first, it was simply a way to keep busy, to fill the quiet hours that used to stretch endlessly before him. But as days passed, Maurice began to notice something deeper happening. He told me once, "The soil didn't just grow tomatoes, it grew me." This wasn't just a clever phrase. It was a real transformation. Caring for the plants, feeling the earth in his hands, and watching tiny seeds sprout into life reawakened something inside him. It gave him purpose and a reason to look forward to each day. Maurice wasn't alone in this journey. The garden became a place where he met others, volunteers and neighbors who shared smiles, stories, and the simple joy of working together. These connections, though small, began to knit a safety net around him. A neighbor shared with me, "He's smiling again. He tells his bad jokes like he used to, and honestly, I swear he looks younger." That sparkle in his eyes returned, and with it, a sense of vitality that had been missing for so long. This transformation wasn't about grand gestures or drastic changes. It was about rediscovering the power of connection, the human need to be seen, to be needed, and to belong. Maurice's story is a powerful reminder that loneliness doesn't have to define our later years. Though it may creep in quietly and steal moments from us, connection has the strength to restore what loneliness takes away. What once felt like an endless silence in Maurice's life is now filled with laughter, conversation, and the warmth of community. This isn't a tale of magic, it's a story grounded in the real, everyday power of reaching out and opening ourselves up to others. If Maurice can find hope and healing after loss and isolation, so can you. There's a path forward, waiting in the simple moments of shared time, care, and presence. And those small steps you take today could be the beginning of your own turnaround. Every day spent in isolation quietly chips away at your strength, your health, and your sense of self. It's not always loud or dramatic. Often, it's the slow, creeping weight of loneliness that drains your energy, steals your joy, and wears down your body from the inside out. Studies show that social isolation can increase the risk of serious health problems, heart disease, stroke, even dementia. But more than statistics, it's the small moments that tell the true story. Missing a phone call, an empty chair at the table, days when no one checks in. But here's the hopeful truth: every effort you make to reconnect, even the tiniest one, gives something back. It rewires your brain, lowers stress hormones, and restores a sense of purpose. Reaching out, making a call, or simply saying hello to a neighbor isn't just social nicety, it's a lifeline that can bring you back to life. Sometimes, the people we reach out to? They've been waiting for someone like you all along. Maybe they're just as lonely, just as eager for connection. Your step toward them might be the light they need too. If you've ever felt that quiet, heavy loneliness, maybe after a loss, a move, or just the slow drift of time, know this, you are not alone. How did you cope? Who reached out and pulled you back? Your story matters. Sharing it could be the lifeline someone else needs right now, someone watching this video who feels lost in the silence. So please, take a moment. Like this video. Comment below with your experience or encouragement. Subscribe for more real, science-backed advice to help you age stronger, not smaller. Together, we can build a community where no one feels invisible or forgotten. You're not invisible. You're not forgotten. And you're not alone. You still matter, more than you know. Let's make these next years not just longer, but fuller. We've got your back. Always.